We continue to track late-breaking news near Cortero Road and I-10, where we can now confirm that the suspect in question throughout this entire morning is now in custody. There is no need to hold your horses because professional bull riding is bucking its way into town. 1 minute the street is quiet and clear like we see right now, but the next it is filled with officers investigating what is now the 11th officer-involved shooting in the Tucson area. When it comes to baking, almost all of us always use tinfoil, but what about using an oven made out of tinfoil? You're going to be taking a look at chopper video of the crash site, and according to the NTSB, a single engine Rand's 12 XP Aero crashed under, quote, unknown circumstances. Incidents on or near campus, most notably the October 2022 shooting of Dr. Thomas Meixner, has pushed the University of Arizona to increase security to prevent another tragedy from happening. Westbound is slowly making its way. All lanes are open on that end. Eastbound, we do have one lane. It looks to be open, but slowly and surely traffic is pursuing and is progressing nicely. What happens when we slowly decrease the size of the parking lot from 100 to 75? Well, according to city code, that's when the effects kind of turn out to be the opposite of what was intended. Technically, if you see flames in here, that's a contained fire. You do not want to open it because the minute you do, you're introducing oxygen. Oxygen and fire, they just love each other, and you're going to create a mess for yourself, and none of us want that. Starting Monday, the Lukeville Port of Entry will close to everyone. That means no one's getting in and no one is getting out. Now, the closure will not only impact travel plans and commutes, but it could also take a toll on workers here in southern Arizona. The Lukeville Port of Entry is used daily by folks living in Sonora, Mexico, crossing the border to work in Arizona. Seeing more than 20,000 vehicles every month, the port is also a main stop on the way to Rocky Point, a popular beach destination. Come Monday, December 4th, though, no one will be crossing through the Port of Entry.
I didn't really think anything of it. I walked into the walk-in and my manager came in and he told me that it might be affecting us in a couple of ways.
That was Chris Rojo, an employee at Why Not Travel convenience store. Located just miles away from the Port of Entry, the store sees hundreds of customers either leaving or coming from Mexico. Rojo works 40 hours a week, but with the coming closure, he could be working less.
Our shifts might get cut, our hours, so that's money for us, and then for the money for the store, because without the Port of Entry, that's a lot of money that we're missing out on.
Travelers are also finding themselves frustrated on the closure. Jose Cordova drives to Mexico every weekend to renovate his home, but if the Port of Entry remains closed, it may put his plans on hold.
Tenemos que esperar porque esto es de que no nomás yo, hay mucha gente.
We just have to wait. There's a lot of people that cross every week and every weekend. They have properties and businesses to go to.
Cordova says there should be no reason why CBP would close the port.
Nosotros somos prioridad que los que están.
We're more of a priority than the other people coming in. At least I think so. How are they going to close the location just to do other tasks? We need this Port of Entry open, always.
Again, the closure starts on Monday. Now, CBP tells us the closure is only temporary. However, there's no word on when operations return to normal. So if you plan on traveling south, you must use the ports located in either Nogales or San Luis, but they may add hours to your trip. So plan accordingly and spread the word. Reporting in Lukeville, Andres Rendon, 13 News. This is a 13-page document right here detailing exactly what investigators sees, and it all centers around the suspect's phone and his vehicle. A metallic blue iPhone and a 2021 red Dodge Challenger. This is what investigators are looking at to get more evidence in a domestic violence case that left Zoraya Moreno in a, quote, vegetative state, end quote, which ultimately led to her death. The warrant was served on August 12th, the same day the incident took place. The search warrant reads, quote, Angelito said that he went to drive away in his vehicle and Zoraya jumped on the trunk of his car. He continued to drive away. At some point, Angelito noticed that Zoraya had fallen off. He went to her and discovered that she was unconscious, end quote. As a result, 2 swabs were collected from the Challenger's trunk, but investigators are looking into 14 hours of information stored in the vehicle's event data recorder module.
This is pretty standard procedure for traffic vehicle accidents when we see a death.
Details like speed will be looked at, and depending on what investigators find, it could change the outlook of potential charges.
What if the data shows that she jumped on the car and he was doing 100 miles an hour? What if the data shows she jumped on the car and he was doing 5 miles an hour? We can't just ignore the fact that there is a potential that there's data there that could support one way or the other, which way we go with charges.
Oliva's iPhone is also being analyzed. According to the warrant, quote, the phone appears to have dried blood smeared on the screen, end quote. 2 swabs from the phone were taken into evidence, but on August 15th, authorities conducted a download of the phone as well.
The information is never something you want to look away to and just dismiss it. We should take everything that's available to us and look at it.
All right, Sheriff Nanos also mentioned that he could recruit the help of other agencies like DPS to assist in gathering evidence and analyzing evidence to expedite the process. He does say, however, investigators are looking through everything carefully before presenting their findings to the county attorney. And in its first year, we're learning a new Pima County program is helping reduce the already strained Pima County jail population. It's called the Pima County Transitional Center. Its mission is to keep non-violent offenders out of jail and to conserve resources. And while the Tucson sector has seen a decrease in apprehensions for the past 2 months, they still lead in arrests, even as the Rio Grande Valley and El Paso sectors saw arrests increase by roughly 35%. In case you do come across an animal, Mark Carr from Game and Fish says it's always best to appreciate nature and wildlife, but from a safe distance, and look out for signs of rabies. That includes foaming at the mouth, walking back and forth, and really any erratic behavior that the animal might present. We're learning a teenager has been arrested for a deadly shooting late Tuesday night. According to South Tucson police, a 17-year-old is being charged as an adult in connection with the shooting that killed a 15-year-old child. It happened near 30th Street and 6th Avenue. Detectives have not released any more information at this point, including what may have led to the shooting. This now marks the second time in 3 years that the Cats have made it to the Sweet 16. And as they do, many eyes are on newly crowned Pac-12 Player of the Year Caleb Love, who leads the team with around 18 points per game. However, there was a fair bit of skepticism when Tommy Lloyd took Caleb out of the transfer portal from UNC.